Hey folks, here we are. We got, what is this? Yeah, it's an 8360. And I came out here a while ago and the batteries were shot on it and basically couldn't get it started and told him he needs to get batteries. So he's got some batteries, but it looks like we need to wire them. This guy's pretty busy. He's a well driller too, and then he farms and ranches. So we got to hook the batteries up. So obviously this is going to be the one that goes from the top to the bottom to hook them together in parallel. But he's got a 4230 over there that doesn't steer. We got to go to that one next after we diagnose this one. I'd already spent some time on this tractor. He bought this one used or something at an auction. It was this way when he got it, and he's trying to fix it up. You know, it was kind of abused, so he hasn't run it much. But I already checked the shuttle. I already checked the wires. As you can see here, it says R and F. That's the forward coil and forward valve. And we actually swapped the shift valves in them, and that wasn't it. They're getting power from the shuttle. So I got a gauge plumbed into it right there, as you can see. So we're going to get the batteries wired and fire it up. We're going to see if we have any pressure in reverse. So I guess the first step in this equation, let's get batteries hooked up. Okay, what do we got going on here? There's a hold down. Was there a hold down on the bottom one or anything?
Yeah, it's sitting right here.
Oh, okay. So I guess let's try to get all that lined out, plumbed, and hold downs back where they go and all that stuff. Ah. So what's going on here? That's gonna go over here, I'm guessing, like that. So I wonder where the other cable that would be going to this one would be. Would be here. Uh-huh. I'm guessing this is probably going to be the positive since it has the split limb around it. And we got to get Trent's camera shy, so we got to get him broke of that. That quill?
Okay. Surprised old Dookie didn't chase it.
Dookie didn't get that son of a bitch there. So is that going to go in there first and then that one goes on? Is that the way that went? I don't know. I did not take it off. I'm thinking that one's going to go on first, maybe, and then
I'll let you get all grounded before I start.
maybe it's going to go like this.
That looks more right. More rider.
Yeah, so. Jeez. Butterfingers, huh? Okay, so there's the grounds. This one had an actual battery nut on it already. There's a hold down gonna go on there though, over it.
No.
So that's not gonna work. We gotta get the hold down on it first. On both of them. Putting the old cart for the horse there.
Here, unbolt that.
Huh? Yeah, it's got a hook.
Come up through the bottom.
They don't really fit on there, right?
Of course not.
Yeah. Okay. I got her.
Are we sitting on a notch or something? Nope, minus.
Okay. What did I do with... It's pretty... Huh. Why does that not line up with that? Is that battery scooted way over? It must be.
Must be, and then yeah, actually, I can see a hole over here. That's scooted way forward too.
It's not sitting in there right, is it?
Oh,
There we go. Try that.
no hole over here for a hold down.
No, no hole?
Mm-mm.
Huh. Hmm. Must be plugged up with crap or something. Is the rod laying there somewhere?
I dropped it. It's down by my foot, but I don't even see where it could hook up to.
Huh.
Wait, maybe I do.
I can get this crap on here now.
Let's just be retarded or something.
Okay.
But I did lose a nut for that. It's right here.
Okay, we got a 9/16. Okay, let's see if it'll start. Oh, gas cylinder. Screwed it on the door and it'll stay open. So he's got a new one of these too that we got to put in eventually. And I was trying to find. These are kind of set up like those Case International MXMs. I thought there was a diagnostic receptacle in here somewhere, and that's why I got that off. I was looking for that. Okay, ignition. Okay. Maybe get the gauge up here. Little sucker just fires right up. See here. Put her in. There's absolutely no pressure there at all. E-brake on? I don't think it's got any brakes either. Yeah, E-brake's on. Well, we'll probably won't. Move forward and forward. Now it ain't doing anything. I mean, I'm not getting it to do anything at all now. This would just be the manual box here. This is the range. what this is all about here. Watch out. Going forward now. I'm still not getting any pressure in reverse. I'm getting nothing in reverse. No pressure. That's the e-brake. I don't know what they've got going on with this right here. Is this bolted to this, or what's the deal with this thing? See, they had this bolted to this for some reason. Is it a backup buzzer, or
Could be.
what is that all about? That doesn't, is that a fact?
That's not a factory thing.
Sure doesn't look like it to me. Okay, be careful. Get that panel there.
Move it too.
Yeah. Okay, so we're on the 4230 now, trying to get it to figure out the steering problem. Hey Trent, turn that bucket upside down and then it'll pour a lot better. There you go. Okay, so you don't got no oil on the stick. It's kind of sitting on a little bit of a side heel there, but we're gonna pour a little bit of oil on that. But on this 8360, so this thing's got what they call a range synchronizer on it. And here's the synchronizer. It's basically the synchronizer arm is right here. It's got an operating piston that moves the arm back and forth inside the transmission. And then it's got a little nubbin on it that sticks into a slot in this potentiometer. And the wire was, you can see where I got it butt connected, and the wire was broke off right flush with the potentiometer when we pulled it off, because we were going to check the potentiometer with the meter. And anyway, hold on, I think my camera's dirty. We went to check it off, we noticed the wire was broke right flush on the potentiometer. We were getting an E70 code. So we kind of jerry-rigged the wire to where it was making contact. And we took a meter actually while we had it, and we checked resistance. And between like 560 ohms, it jumps to like 620 or 630. There's a dead spot in it. And that's usually an indication they're junk. So we ordered a potentiometer for it. We know this one's bad and it needs to be replaced because the wires broke off flush with the connector. That's one step we're going to make. And the only other step that they say in there, they say to check the operating piston for the range, for the actual, they tell you to check the operating piston for this arm to check the synchronizer. But I know it's working because you can watch it. It's going full stroke back and forth. I tried to calibrate it, and it's going full stroke back and forth. So you're going to change this potentiometer out, and then if it's not that and it still does it, then there's something internally wrong inside the transmission. So we got to check this 4230 out and see if adding oil to it could possibly just be the problem. Get her in there, Trent.
Yeah.
Jump in there and see if it'll. Well, it's still full. The bucket here is.
I put a little bit on the stick just in case there's a little bit of an incline. I didn't want to overfill it.
Oh, so it's already on there now, or?
Yeah, it's about halfway on the stick.
Oh, okay.
In between the stakes.
So then it wasn't that low. I was thinking if you dumped that whole 5-gallon bucket in there and it was still in the same spot, then yeah, we definitely got a problem. But it doesn't appear to be that low then. You didn't, looks like you, yeah, I mean, there's quite a bit of oil in that bucket still.
Yeah.
So go ahead, I don't think it's going to change anything, but huh? Let me see that fucking thing should just wheel right around there. See how it's, yeah, it's killer. We gotta test other things. It's not right. So the way these things work, guys, there's a metering pump. It comes off the steering column here. The metering pump, and then there's the steering valve. And then there's the steering motor. And the steering motor is just basically a rack and pinion type setup that moves the arm back and forth, the tie rods. Okay, well, we took I just was feeling this steering shaft here. This is the metering pump. We got the whole steering column and everything out of it. It just felt really rough. And that 4960 he's got down there and the 4850 got the same pretty much exact steering system on them. And, you know, they're just smooth as can be, but this one was just, it just feels really rough. And anyway, we tore it all apart and I don't see nothing wrong with it. You know, I don't understand why this one's so rough feeling. You know, I thought sure as hell with the way it felt that I was going to find some damaged gears in there. But anyways, we blew a hose here that blew a hole in it here somewhere. Right here, it blew a hole in it and blew oil all over the place inside the cab here. So we got to get a hose for it. We're going to have to come back. We got they actually had 8 of those potentiometers in stock at New Holland for that tractor. So that kind of tells you right there that's a pretty common issue. So the other things that can be possibly going on here. So either something could be hanging up in here in the spool, which I've never seen one hang up, to be honest with you. What I've seen on these type of steering systems, they've got an actual piston that back and forth, it'll, you know, to move the tie rod, and there's a feedback piston. You can actually see the edge. I think this is the edge of the feedback piston. So I've seen the feedback pistons get stuck in the bores on them before. And then it doesn't send the oil, the control oil, back to the end of the spool to change the spool over. So I don't know, we'll have to revisit this one. Boy, we didn't run that thing very long, and that oil cooler needs to be pulled off there, and it was puking oil, and the nipple on the overflow is gone on the radiator, and it was puking water out of it everywhere. So he just bought this one at a cow bid auction, so he got to fix her up and get her all fixed up. It'd be a good tractor. Anyways, that ain't much of a video, but upwards and onwards. Folks, we're back at the 8360 and the 4230. So Trent's putting the steering metering valve. We put 2 new shims and gaskets on that. We put that back in there, and then he already had it in there once, and this hose that comes off the steering valve, this is return oil, and it goes back through one port in the metering pump, then goes back down through another port back into this cooler port on the transmission for return oil. Well, it kept blowing the hose off of it, because the other day when we was running it, and it's starting to make sense now, it blew the hose. It actually blew a hole in it. Well, that would tell me there that problem existed then too. But there's a return check in this one fitting up in there, and it had come clear out to the end of the fitting, and I took a screwdriver and shoved it back in there. It's probably going to do it again, but that's part of the problem. This thing here, guys, so this 8360, all right, so we had trouble. This wire was broke on this. This is the range synchronizer. It synchronizes between high and low. Okay, and I'll tell you now that I have a in-depth understanding of this, because I took it all apart this morning. The wire was broke today, so we got a new one, all right, and that was the first step into this troubleshooting deal. So this lever here basically is just a position lever to tell the transmission controller what position this synchronizer in. This synchronizer It's just same thing that you'll see in a manual transmission and a pickup. It's just got a synchro on it. I put the new one in this morning, and it still wouldn't go in reverse. And then it was doing all kinds of goofy stuff. It was taking off in neutral, and you could push the clutch in, it wouldn't stop, and it was doing things that were different than it was the other day. But so I thought, you know, let's just pull the top off here. Don't look that bad to do. So I pulled this shift valve, this valve block off the top of the transmission. And all you can kind of see right here, all this thing is, these coils port oil to this piston. There's a piston right here that runs back and forth, and it's got 2 notches on it, or 2 tabs. And then those 2 tabs set in the clutch fork, and that piston moves back and forth, and that's what moves that range synchronizer back and forth, which in turn moves this arm and the position sensor to tell it where it's at. Well, I'm not 100% certain that they didn't have, that somebody had this off, and then they had that thing assembled wrong and had the notches on the wrong side of the fork, and it couldn't move, because we never could get this to move. Well, anyway, another thing that we know definitely, I kept track, I actually took a picture with my phone of the way this was wired before I even took it apart. And this wires here, with these orange connectors you'll see here, they were on this coil. This one was over here, and this one was over here. Okay, that's the picture I got on my phone. Well, I put this all back on there, and it kept doing a bunch of goofy crap on me. And I mean, you could put it in reverse and it would go forward. And I said, man, those wires got to be backwards. So I got the service manual out and started looking at the color codes for the wires. And sure as hell, it said the gray with the tan tracer supposed to be over here on the B solenoid, and it said that the purple with the green tracer is supposed to be on forward, and then the purple with the tan tracer was supposed to be on R. So I just wired it right, and now it works just fine. So I'm going to put the floor plate and the rubber mat in it, and I'll show you when I get that done. We'll go drive it around, then we'll go back to the 4230 and see if we can get it going. I think Trent got her fixed. That check valve was the problem with everything, why it was so hard to steer. Wasn't letting the oil go back to tank. Which means we're gonna have to get a new fitting. That fitting, that check valve's incorporated into that fitting. It's gonna do it again. So we're gonna have to come back with the fitting for that. Oh yeah, it's steering now. Engine don't sound too good. Well, oh yeah, that's what it's supposed to do. Well, I guess don't go too far, Trent, putting this together. I'll have to call him. I know it's going to do it again. So I'm gonna have to call and get the fitting. We'll probably have to pull this metering pump back out of it. We'll leave it in here for now.
In case it needs to be moved.
Yeah, and we'll probably park it back over where it originally was parked down there below. But we know that was the problem. It was not letting the oil go back to return the tank. So that was the problem with that. Don't let me forget my flow meter off the back here either. I'll put the floor mat back in this thing here and go park it down below too. Yeah. And I'll have to go to hold the Pape and get the fitting for that. There's a bunch of black widows on this damn mat. And I killed a bunch of them, but there's one right there. He's still alive. We're gonna cover him up, smash him.
Are you scared of spiders?
I don't like them. Not black widows. I got bit by, you know, the ones that'll get you is them damn, what the hell's them brown recluses?
Yeah.
Those are the ones that'll really get you. The black widows are not any fun or any laughing matter, but there that son of a bitch is right there. There's another one. That dirty bastard. Get out of there. Oh, they're all over the place. All right. Let me get my bar off this thing, and then we'll go park this one down there too. He's got his old tractors. He's got a really nice 4960 right there, and then he's got a nice 4850 down there, and a really nice 4020 sitting down there. I mean, that's probably one of the nicest 4020s I've ever seen. This one here, I think he bought at a cow bid auction or something. It was really cheap, and he was kind of gambling to see if he could get it to where it would work and start fixing it up a little bit here and there. He's got a new shift knob here for it. Why is that light switch on right there? That light switch is on. Why is that on? Why? Okay, that's why that's on, because the lights are on. Okay. Start up there and okay, and it'll go in high range. That works just fine like it's supposed to. I'll slow down here and yeah, there's that 4020 sitting right there. It's a nice one, man. That one has to be split in two. It's going to be brought up to McDowell. noticed that every time you shuttle to neutral, it takes it back to low range. I guess that's the way it's supposed to be. I just got to do it one more time. It's shift modulated so it doesn't pop into gear. Alright, well, this one's satisfactory. I don't think I would like to buy those tires right there. What do you think them tires are a piece? Those back ones here. I bet you those suckers are probably, I bet they're at least $5 a piece. $4,000 to $5,000 a piece for those. The tires are worth more than the tractor is. Pretty wild. Alright, well, that'll be all for this one. I gotta call that guy and tell him what's going on with it. Anyhow, Trent fixed this one and I fixed that one, so we did good here.